Good morning and welcome to day 4 of the 2023 Rolex Sydney Hobart Yacht Race, coming to you live from Kings Pier Marina in Hobart. Well, in most other years, every pen, or certainly half to 3/4 of every pen here at the Kings Pier Marina would be occupied, but at the moment there are only 6 yachts that have finished the race. The drawbridge into Constitution Dock, which will also accommodate those that can't fit into Kings Pier, it hasn't been raised once, and it sits like an empty water car park. There's a sign of what the fleet has had to contend with, though, with this year and the weather. Well, thanks for joining us here in the Rolex Race Village. We're right on the Kings Pier at Dockside, and I can tell you that of the 103 starters, we've had 16 retirements. Those 6 boats have finished. 81 are still racing. 2 boats are in Storm Bay at the moment, led by No Limit and Smuggler. And then we have another group of Whisper, Caro and Celestial. Caro and Celestial, who were 2 of the pre-race favourites, the TP52s. It hasn't been their weather. And also they are all in the vicinity of Tasman Island. Well, joining me are my partner in crime, Peter Shipway, the voice of the Sydney Hobart. And Peter, what an extraordinary day yesterday with that line honours finish, and also then the handicap battle between those 2 boats.
Yes, good morning, Gordon, and good morning to everyone. It was an incredible day, and we saw one of the great finishes in the Hobart race for line honours. But what's it showing us is what a split it's been in the fleet. As you said, only 6 boats finished, and the remainder, some in Storm Bay, but the remainder strung out along the Tassie coast. So the weather has really split this fleet up, and at the moment I think it's almost assured and certain that Alive will be named the winner of the Tattersalls Cup.
Yeah, well, we've had all sorts of weather. Let's have a look at the yacht tracker then with Peter Shipway, who loves working his way through this detail, but it's so important, and you can find the yacht tracker on the Rolex Sydney Hobart Yacht Race website.
Well, this is the figure that is key to everyone now. That's distance to go to the finish, and as you said, we saw No Limit, she's in the bay. Smuggler, she's just around Tasman. Then Whisper, Caro, Celestial. Then we go right down to the fleet, and all these boats strung up close to the rum line, so they're reaching now in probably westerly to southwesterly breezes, so they're making reasonable progress, some of the boats, but some aren't. This is the speed. We look at Avalanche there, 1.5 knots, so they're still 200 miles to go, so they're at least 24 to 30 hours away to the finish. So there's going to be a few boats in tomorrow, but it's going to get busy, I think, tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow night. We go right down to the little tail end, Charlie. Sylph, well, she's just northeast of Green Cape. She's not even in Bass Strait yet. Still 424 miles to go. And we wonder how the Cat's going. Ollie on board that 2-hander. There's 2 crew and a Cat.
Yeah, well, I hope there's plenty of available food for the Cat. Yeah, well, that's most important.
They'll have to go fishing if there's not, I think. But yeah, it's remarkable that this race now has, as I said earlier, split the fleet right up and only 6 boats in. And normally by this time in a traditional Hobart race of modern times, we've got at least 20 or 30 boats in. We'll see a bit of a flood in this afternoon and tonight, I think.
Just, Pete, just before we leave the tracker, what about the handicap situation, the IRC, Alive sitting on top at the moment? If we could go back to the tracker, can anyone beat Alive, do you think, that's still out there?
Well, it's possible, because these boats here that have got red highlighted against them show the time they've got to finish to beat Alive, but it's impossible, really. We look there at Kraken, the Tasmanian boat there, Robbie Goff and John Saul. They've got to finish by 7 o'clock tonight, and they've still got 179 miles to go. So it's impossible to do it. I mean, even a Maxi would struggle to do that. So even though there's some red showing against some of the boats, Mistral, Patriot, they're no chance. So Alive will take the Tattersalls Cup, that's for sure.
So Alive sitting pretty as the unofficial handicap winner. Well, yesterday was just gobsmacking. We had in 1982 the closest finish on record with Condor of Bermuda and also Apollo, just 7 seconds. But Peter, this was one of the most amazing finishes when you consider the 2 100-footers attacking each other in no wind right on the line.
I think it just shows, Gordon, that boats don't have to be going fast to be exciting. If they're together, like we saw yesterday, it just couldn't have got any better or more exciting.
Well, let's now sit back and watch that extraordinary climax to the Lion Honours battle yesterday. The excitement is building here on the Derwent River because this is Andu Comanche, the 100-footer who took Lion Honours last year, has just gone through past the iron pot, and where at the moment is LawConnect.
You can see her in the background, yeah. So she's round the iron pot as well and well able to see what's happening ahead. And you want to be in front, but if you're behind like that into a dying breeze, you can kind of see where not to go. It certainly is dying where we are right now. They just did a big ease. Everyone is right up on the bow, and the reason for that is to try and get that big wide stern out of the water. There's that big cloud line over where you guys are, and I think that's really what's killing the breeze.
Wow, here's LawConnect barreling along. She'll be closing this gap, there's no doubt about it, but she's going to stub a toe up here as well. And they're both in shot there. You can see that LawConnect has caught up, and there's good breeze where LawConnect is between her and Andu Comanche. Look at that bow wave. It's minimal, isn't it? It's hardly any bow wave at all.
There's a real glimmer of pressure, and LawConnect is in it. That's the only place that there's ripples on the water right now. So they are in that. They've halved the distance again, and with Andu there behind me, their sails have gone completely floppy.
Oh, look at this, look at this.
This is amazing.
This is amazing. As you say, Gordon, this is unbelievable. Look at LawConnect. There's a puff of breeze coming to her. Wow. LawConnect is sneaking along the shore there. This is not over by a long shot. Andu Comanche still leads. It's narrow, as you can see. Without stating the obvious, it's very close.
LawConnect has been throwing a few manoeuvres in here, and I think that's actually quite a clever move by that team. They seem to be accelerating out of the jives a lot quicker than Andu Comanche. Really aggressive moves by LawConnect.
What a finish this is going to be for this race. Look at LawConnect, her headsail's just collapsed, that massive headsail.
She's coming back here, Andu.
Andu's got a little bit of pressure. This is cat and mouse stuff here, real cat and mouse stuff. They're going to jibe in tandem here too. Okay, these manoeuvres hurt these big boats so much, but they've got to throw everything at it now, LawConnect. See the aggressive jibe that Tony Mutter's putting in on LawConnect. They really swing that boat through. It's absolutely unbelievable how close this is. Look at this, LawConnect's got the bow down. Here we go. Can LawConnect lock Andu Comanche out, or vice versa?
The lead has changed hands two or three times here.
She's got to come back on port tack, which is a disadvantage. Andu could almost be on the gas of LawConnect here, meaning that she's taking the wind away. Andu Comanche's faster at the moment. There's the finishing buoy. Oh, look at this. So, LawConnect's got the bow down here. Wow, she's taken the breeze of Andu. That's what's happened. That's what's happened here. They've done it. LawConnect's done it. They've put the bow across in front of Andu. I think LawConnect might do this.
And just 100 metres to the finishing line.
Oh, look at this. This is amazing. Unbelievable. Here's LawConnect on her way. There's the finishing buoy that just got a turn to starboard.
Extraordinary scenes here on the Derwent.
They've done it.
LawConnect over the finishing line, just seconds ahead of Andu Comanche.
Oh, it is. I can't believe that result. Honestly, it's a dream come true. I never thought it was possible, actually.
And ladies and gentlemen, I think we can safely say we have seen the most incredible finish in the 78-year history of the Rolex Sydney Hobart Yacht Race. Well, Christian Beck described it, Peter, as a shitbox, the 100-footer. Pardon the language, but yeah, that was amazing. But I think Christian Beck, he said he doesn't know a lot about sailing, but certainly he welded together a brilliant crew there.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I mean, it takes your breath away just watching it 24 hours later, and just what both crews went through. I mean, I'm sure Andu Comanche came into the river thinking, well, things are looking pretty good here, but they didn't look too good at the finishing line. And as I said on commentary, I mean, full marks to those LawConnect boys. Chris Nicholson and Tony Mutter especially, the tactician and the helmsman at the time, and all the crew. I mean, a fabulous win, and for Christian, as 3 times he'd been runner-up in the last 3 races, and to finally get home first, I think it's a really great thing for him, great thing for the race, and great thing for this crew.
Well, that package was cut together by Russell Petterwood and Bex Denham, and I must say, Peter, at one point in the commentary you said that Andrew Comanche really is in the commanding position here. And they're still probably scratching their heads as to how they lost that race at the finish.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be a debrief or two when everyone dries out a bit. But, yeah, I think every boat had their chances. It's just LawConnect grabbed it at the right moment.
Well, there was another 100-footer racing, Wild Thing, and it was the 6th boat to finish over the line yesterday. And Peter G, I think, is going to catch up with the owner and the skipper. And, Pete, it's very much a family affair.
It is, Gordon. Good morning, everybody. Yes, we're in front of the Warrington family yacht. It just happens to be 100 foot long, but juniors, Oliver and Georgia, might have enjoyed Hobart's hospitality a little bit too much last night. But Grant's looking bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Grant Warrington, welcome to Hobart. Your 30th Rolex Sydney Hobart.
Yeah, thanks very much. It's great to be here again, and you know, we just love the reception you get when you arrive in Hobart. It's just a really special time of the year for us.
And very special to do it in this yacht. There's so much talk pre-race about the new 100-footer on the block. Is it well, classifying the boat might prove a little bit difficult because it is said to be a new yacht, but actually there's a fair bit of a former yacht that we've seen here in Hobart before.
Yeah, that's right. We were able to use parts of the old boat and cut it and extend it. So, yeah, we sort of chopped it off here in front of the dagger boards and used the bow and fed it all in.
Take us for a bit of a tour. You've gone from Stefan Racing, which was 80 feet long,
yeah. So
now it's 100 foot. Where's the new bit?
So there's a 4 metre new section in here. We cut 10 metres off the bow, moved it forwards 4 metres and built a new section in the middle and joined it all back together again. And then we added 2 metres on the back. So so we had a little issue with the boat was a little bit weight forwards, a little bit nosedivey, sort of, downwind.
When did you discover that?
Oh, just, we've only had the boat 2 years, but,
This is when it was Stefan.
When it was Stefan and
right.
Beau Jest before that.
Yeah.
So we realised it needed more buoyancy in the front. So cutting it off here effectively moved the keel on the mast back by adding so much buoyancy in the front of it, right? So it made the boat, transformed the boat really. So it just sails beautifully now, bow up. You can push it as hard as you like downwind, and it doesn't bury the bow in. So it's fantastic.
When we heard about what was being done, I sort of thought we might see a sort of a Frankenstein's monster when we got down here to Hobart, but it looks seamless.
Yeah, well, it's all fared in beautifully, actually. It's a little bit tricky because, of course, the boat's got more freeboard in the bow than the stern, so joining that in and getting all the lines to fare in nicely is actually quite a tricky job, but no, it's come up beautifully. We're very happy with the end result.
Were you working on it Christmas night?
I personally wasn't. I was able to go from Christmas lunch straight to the hotel. But Theo and Paddy, the young blokes that worked with me on the whole project, they finished up quite late on Christmas Day, but I'm pleased to report everything was done. There was no boat building during the trip down here, although someone did say to me this morning they did see an angle grinder being used during the race to cut off couple of pieces of carbon fibre that were sticking out as spikes, here and there, that just needed to be cleaned up. We didn't quite get time to smooth everything in, but it was just fantastic to see the structure hold together beautifully, and we had no issues at all.
Okay, because your previous Wild Thing, you had a problem with your keel, having won in 2003, the next year leading the race, and you lose your keel off Flinders Island. You sound like you were watching closely to make sure there was no repeat in 2023.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We're very cautious after that event. That was pretty scary, and we certainly didn't want to go back there. So yeah, we're having a good look around all the way down here and checking everything over, and very pleased with the end result.
So even though you were not able to have a shakedown cruise, this was it. You were confident that, you know, everything was ship-shape and safe.
Yeah, exactly. Look, you learn all those things as you go along, and you know you rely on the structural designers. And we had a fantastic engineer working on the job from Sydney. Brett Ellis did an excellent job with all that, and he's done a lot of work on most of the 100-footers. So you know you get a lot of confidence dealing with those guys. And then, of course, it has to be vetted, the design and the construction has to be vetted through DNV, the German Design Classification Authority that the CYC actually mandate you that you have to, if you have a boat over 24 metres, you have to have all of the modifications or new work classified by them. So it's like a double check. You have the design, you have it checked, and then you go through the whole construction process and get it ticked off in the end. So it's pretty detailed, so it gives you that confidence that the structure's going to last and get you here to Hobart.
Well, Christian Beck, owner-skipper of the Line Honours winner, was less than complimentary about his boat, but you must be a little bit jealous about what happened here on the River Derwent this year and maybe want to mix it with him next year?
Oh, 100%. You know, like, hats off to Christian. They did a fantastic job, and, you know, that whole never give up attitude is what it's all about. And, you know, they could have easily just sort of cruised down the river and gone, well, how are we going to catch Comanche? You know, they're, 15, 20 minutes ahead, whatever it was. But that's the race, isn't it? Anything can happen in the end. You know, you have a glass out and someone sails around you. Really, the same thing happened for overall. You know, URM had the race in the bag, and then Alive came in and brought in the lighter air, and, well... So it's never over till it's over.
Well, it wouldn't be a Rolex Sydney Hobart with Grant Warrington. I know that brain is ticking about how you can get more speed out of the boat, some ballast on the way for it, water ballast, and a bit of extra weight to perhaps be at the real pointy end of the race next year.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, there's quite a few hours gap in the end, but you know, we lost a lot the first night. We were sort of 40 miles deficit after the first rain cloud that we went through, and we just got stuck. You know, we had all the 50-footers around us, and we're going, oh no. But it happens to everybody. Wrong place at the wrong time, and we'll be back next year with renewed enthusiasm and a few new tricks to improve our performance and hopefully catch up to the guys at the front.
Okay, and perhaps we can get Georgia and Oliver to join you in a victory interview this time next year.
Yeah, definitely. That would be a great goal.
Good. Grant Warrington, back to you, Gordon.
Good on you, Pete. And yes, also on board was Lisa Seifert, the model who last year had her first Sydney Hobart only 3 weeks after having surgery for breast cancer. She sailed again this year for her second Sydney Hobart. But Peter, they talked about the end of the race. Anything can happen. What about that little catamaran that got in the way of the two 100-footers here? It was inside the exclusion zone.
Well, with such excitement yesterday between these two boats, I didn't even notice that catamaran, but obviously the boys on Andrew Comanche saw it, and I think the police saw it as well. How it got in there, I really don't know, but I believe the owner has been fined for going into the exclusion zone. It didn't really play a part, but he shouldn't have been there, that's for sure.
Well, we spoke to John Winning's mother, Kerry, last night, John Winning Jr., Herman, and apparently he's trying to get in touch with the owner of that catamaran just to tell them that it played no role in the way the boats got over the finishing line. So that was a nice touch.
Maybe you might have to go up to Hobart Jail and find the guy.
Well, Grant Warrington mentioned about URM and also Alive. URM looked to have the handicap situation well in hand, one hand on that Illingworth Cup, but it wasn't to be. Let's just recap on those dramatic final stages in the Derwent River yesterday afternoon. And it looks as though it's down to URM and Alive of the Pocket Maxis, Peter Shipway, who are going to really fight out this handicap situation.
She's probably got about 8 miles to go, and she stepped away from Alive coming across Storm Bay, so she's really in the box seat now. She's got a convincing lead over Alive.
Wind is really quite patchy out here, and they've done a couple of jives already to make sure they're staying in the pressure.
They're just doing a jibe now, an inside jibe, so those asymmetrical spinnakers, rather easy to jibe than the old conventional spinnaker pole.
It's not all over. Alive will appreciate these conditions as well once she gets her spinnaker up. Looking across to the eastern shore of the Derwent River.
and probably looking astern for Alive.
The question will be is when Alive pops their head around that corner, but I still think, as you saw this morning, they'll catch up, but they'll hit this light spot.
Oh, she's just stubbed her toe there. She's run out of wind. Now, is this river starting to play tricks again on us here, Gordon?
So, again, drama is building.
I've just spotted Alive pop their head around the corner. They're in plenty of breeze up there, and I'm pointing directly at us. So, yeah, we have a bit of a race in our hands.
And they would know. They'd have the clock running. They would know how much they've got to beat Alive by. They're looking now towards the finishing line. They're on a straight course to the finish at Battery Point, I'd say.
And what an exhilarating experience for URM and this crew.
Well, here's Alive. Okay, here she comes. She is powering up the river. She is in really good pressure. She's come right up the middle of the river. Boy, she's looking in good shape at the moment. How far behind is she? This is the key to it. Heartbreak here for one of those boats. Down to a couple of knots. And look at this. Here comes Alive. A massive speed difference.
There's the gun from the Castro Esplanade box. Have they done enough to win the race on Handicap?
URM just have to sit there and watch the clock.
Well, they're pretty close to the finishing line.
Yeah, but look, there's no breeze. It's just
breeze.
quit. It's just collapsed. They just need... Oh, gee, they're not far off this finishing line, Gordon.
Yeah, they're very close to the finishing line.
They're just starting to pick up a bit of breeze now.
I think they're going to do it, Peter.
God, this is a cruel race, isn't it? It really is a cruel race.
They're only about 40 metres away, Peter, but they're over the line. Alive is the handicap leader in the 2023 Rolex Sydney Hobart, unofficially.
Yes, well, that is certainly still to be announced, but it looks as though, Peter, that no one can beat Alive now for the Tattersall Cup, and that would mean a second victory for a Tasmanian boat, and that's only occurred once previously with Westwood back in the 40s.
Yeah, well, there's Westwood in the dock, Constitution dock, and she won in 47 and 48, but that's going to be duplicated this time. Alive won in 2018. They weren't back-to-back victories, and now she's assured of winning this year. But there's Westwood, long time ago, and a real old timer, but in great condition.
Yes, 1/8 inch celery pine, laminated over blue gum timbers. She was a beautiful... She actually had a fishing well, Peter, and they had to seal off the fishing well, and they had to disconnect the propeller. But she relished the nor'easter in Bass Strait back in 1947-48, so there's a bit of history, and that 48 victory, if Alive is officially announced here, which we say it will happen, it's the 75th anniversary, so what a huge moment for Tasmanian sailing. And Jock Muir, the great Jock Muir, famous Sydney Hobart sailor who built the boat in his backyard.
Yeah, a name synonymous with the early Hobart races for sure, the Muir family, and yeah, it's wonderful to have Hobart or Tasmania winning this race again, that's for sure. A great thrill for the people of Tasmania.
Got the Mercury paper here, and the dream come true is referring to LawConnect. But if I open there, the Mercury is right on the money there. Just on.
Let me help you there, Gordon.
Yeah, there it is, yeah. Tasmanian Yacht Alive is the boat to beat for line honours, and there's
Handicap honours,
Duncan Hunt for handicap honours, I should say, Duncan Hunt. Now, Peter, I said yesterday that Philip Turner was on board. I was going off the crew list, but actually he would have fallen out of his chair in Thailand, I think he was at the moment. So Philip Turner, the owner, wasn't on board. But yeah, these things happen. I thought I did see him on board, but that's all part of live television. He was in the official crew list, but he was a bit of a ghost figure, I think.
Well, he's obviously watching closely, I would think, and willing them home. And if he was watching our broadcast of the finish, he would have been pretty excited.
Well, another boat that was certainly in contention for handicap honours was MoneyPenny, Sean Langman. Sean has raced in big boats and also the tiny 30-footer Maluka of Commandi, and he was actually leading on handicap there at one stage, but he decided to stay closer to the shore down the east coast of Tasmania. But Peter, we have some spectacular footage now of Sean Langman. Your comments on their performance?
Excellent, really. Finished third overall. Hasn't done much sailing this year with the boat, with MoneyPenny. He did very well last year, and he was right there all the way through in the top half dozen, and it was a race that suited that size of boat. But Alive and URM just took a little bit of a different track coming down the coast of Tasmania. They went a bit wider, and as you said, and MoneyPenny came a more direct route, and in the end that counted against MoneyPenny. But to get third in this race, he'd lightened the boat, he'd take a lot of weight out of the bulb, he put extra crew on board. It's still a very, very fine performance.
Well, he said he might have to spend a bit more money and maybe go for the power winches. He's relying on manpower at the moment. But let's recap on this fantastic finish by Sean yesterday in the Derwent, and our special thanks here to James Bury, our boat captain, and also Jono Whitty, the drone pilot, because you see some spectacular shots here.
Coming down from the iron pot's always unusual in a sou'wester. We had lots of different conditions and thought at one stage we were going to put the code 0 up because it was going to be too light, and then we wanted to put the roof back in. We had our moments with MoneyPenny this year, and we knew it would take everything to beat URM and Alive. You know, they were the boats that we felt this year would be a maxi come mini maxi race with the forecast if we could hang on to the system change. There was a big trough that we had to get the right side of. Yeah, it was pretty exciting. Nice flat water sailing, and a nice way to finish the race.
Yeah, amazing shots. They're almost putting us on board, Peter.
Well, it just shows, we keep saying it, but it always happens, how different this river can be. So MoneyPenny just smoking up the river, and there was Alive and URM hitting calm spots, and a few hours later there's MoneyPenny just absolutely streaking to the finishing line.
Well, the Vice Commodore of the Cruising Yacht Club of Australia, Sam Haynes, on Celestial, we think they're just maybe entering Storm Bay at the moment, the TP52. He was going for back-to-back victories. He's probably wasn't his race. It was a big boat race this year for the TP52s. It was more of a struggle. Yeah,
they have dominated recent races, both Hobart and other long races out on the east coast of Australia, the TP52s, and worldwide. But it just wasn't their weather this year. They weren't quick enough to get down into the systems that took the big boats home. And Caro, who was another favourite for Handicap Honours, she won this year's Fastnet race, the big race in England, which is about 680 miles that finishes in France these days. But she was a hot favourite if the TP52s could have dominated this year. But she now is still out, just gone round Tasman Island, Caro. She's just about 3 miles ahead of Celestial, and they're along with Smuggler, who's done a very good job. She's the leading TP52 Smuggler, so she's jumped ahead of those two favourites in Caro and Celestial. So just not the TP52 weather this year, but still they'll be in the top half a dozen or so on Handicap Honours, I would think, or probably in the top dozen. But just shows that it was a maxi or mini maxi race this year. TP52s, very good boats. Celestial, hard to do back-to-back wins, and as it's proved, she won't get the Tattersalls Cup this year.
Well, Lisa Darmanham caught up with Sam Haynes before he departed, and remember, Sam Haynes and Celestial were the defending champions on Handicap.
Oh, look, it was an amazing experience, life changer. Re-engaged me obviously with the sport massively to get to the the Tattersalls Cup eventually after so many years. It was just great.
And I guess it's hard to win one, it's hard to back it up. But do you reckon you got a shot of going back to back?
Yeah, look, looking at the current conditions, are not ideal for the boat. But 21, we was largely an upwind race, and we had the fastest time corrected until obviously the result of the final result for the race. This and then 22 downwind, hard running. That's really where the boat shines. Right now, we're not really sure how it's all going to go. We have got a chance, but it's all on.
No two races are the same, I guess. What for you is sort of like the highlight that brings you back?
I think the race is always, like you say, no two races are the same. They're quite challenging races. You get really varied conditions, so you often get, to exercise your full sail inventory, all your skills and so forth, or the boat's skills. And it's not over till it's over. We know how the race goes. There's plenty at play even when you get down to the island. So, yeah, that's one of the reasons I really like it. It's just an amazing sort of sailing challenge.
Yes, and Sam Haynes is a veterinary surgeon, animal hospitals, and he did give the thumbs up for Ollie the cat to go down on Silversex. He was operating on cats 2 days before the race.
There you go.
So there you are. He's a versatile man, and as we say, he's just entered Storm Bay at the moment. Well, behind us you can see the Line Honours champion, LawConnect, Christian Beck. And this 100-footer, Peter, is about to depart. And I think we might go to Lisa, who's with Christian Beck. So, Lisa, before they go.
Well, Christian, congratulations. Has it sunk in yet? Have you watched the replay?
I've watched it on my phone, and I am sort of starting to realise that it's real. And I'm very, I woke up feeling very happy this morning, obviously.
And it's quite busy on the boat at the moment. You guys are turning around and heading back to Sydney, I heard, a day and 14 hours. That's a little bit easier than the trip down.
Yep, and there's no way I'm getting back on it, I can tell you that much.
And you just told me you're on the plane back home. You've got a newborn at home as well, so you've had a busy couple of weeks.
No, I have. I think I got more sleep on the boat than I do at home, actually. So it's been a nice little holiday for me to go away from the baby. Even though I love the baby, it's good to escape for a while.
And I know you're not on the crew, but how many of the crew that sailed it down are actually doing the job back up?
I actually don't know. One of these guys will know, but I'd say about 10.
And we've been looking at the footage. It's been an amazing race. It's been a tough race. And I've been asking everyone, what keeps you coming back? And do you think we'll see you again next year?
Well, I think moments like yesterday is why we come back, although I don't think we'll ever repeat that again. But I think we'll definitely be back, but it's especially after last year, we have to.
And racing is just so enjoyable, and I imagine when you're doing ocean racing, you don't have that much one-on-one battles, but you guys battled all the way down the coast and all the way up the Derwent. That just must have been so exciting.
Yeah, I mean, whenever I've done sailing, it's always fun when it's close. It's really exciting when it's close, and it's good if you can have that happen. And obviously, yesterday was very close, the whole race. Past years has been close with a lot of Sumaxis. Hopefully next year there'll be a good lineup and it'll be close again, because that's what makes it very entertaining.
Well, thank you so much for chatting with us. I know you've had a lot of interviews since you hit the dock yesterday, but we really appreciate it. And a huge congratulations from everyone, and hope to see you again next year.
Thank you. You'll see me again. Don't worry. See you.
Thanks, Christian.
Peter, he's a very laconic character, isn't he? A lovely common touch.
Yeah.
I think he puts the masses in touch with what sailing's all about. Incidentally, Seng Huang Lee, who's the owner of Scallywag, said that he likes to go in the Hobart race because he can get away from 4 screaming children. So there's a newborn baby there for Christian, so let's hope he does get a bit more sleep.
Yeah, talking about crew going back on the boat, I was talking to Chris Nicholson before, who was an integral part of the crew. He's got his 2 young sons going back on the boat, so a big thrill for those guys. And I think, as Lisa said, I think they're anticipating a trip home of 1 day, 15 hours, so they'll pass majority of the fleet as they're going back to Sydney.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, there have been a lot of female sailors in the race. I think it's somewhere around 120 female sailors in the 2023 Rolex Sydney Hobart, and one of those boats in the race, Clockwork, I think it might be the lone South Australian entry, Peter. We've had all the Australian states and Tasmania represented, but Clockwork has 4 females on board, and Lisa Darmanin has been very busy. She's been getting around the docks, but before Clockwork left Sydney, she caught up with 4 female members of the crew.
And you've got a pretty good Sydney 38 fleet, so it's always fun to race other boats like within the race. What are your chances?
I think they're pretty good. My understanding is that it'll be really close amongst the Sydney 38s. It'll almost be like a match race. There's one with just a little bit higher handicap and another one a little bit lower, and the other 3 of us are all on the same. So it'll be like a match race, and we'll need to finish within minutes of each other to be able to win. So really excited about that and looking forward to that part of the competition as well.
Yeah. Sounds pretty tough, but it looks like you've got comfort sorted with a bit of modification. We saw the beanbag. Where did that come from?
It came with the boat. We thought it was a bit crazy. Geez, they're great. They're really great. Yes, they will feature in the race, for sure.
Well, have fun, be comfortable and be safe, and we'll see you there.
Yeah, thanks very much, Lisa. And where are they situated at the moment, Peter?
Clockwork is off Eddiston. She's close inshore. She's only 8 miles east of Eddiston Point, and she's got 178 miles to go to the finish and doing 5.9 knots. So on handicap, on IRC, that's the overall handicap, they're 28th, and in their division, they're in 5th spot. So they're doing pretty well. And line honours, they're in 51st place. So they're still a good 24 hours, 30 hours away from finishing. So late tomorrow afternoon, I'd say, for the Clockwork team.
Peter,
but nonetheless, a very good effort from the team from South Australia.
I'll get you to look up Mondo as well, Lisa Callaghan. That's another one of the Sydney 38s. Lisa's the skipper, the co-skipper and co-owner of Mondo, the Sydney 38. She's also the Commodore of the Manly Yacht Club. And we'll just see how Mondo's going, because those 38s have their own private war, don't they?
They do. There's a good half a dozen of them in the fleet, and they've been a very successful boat over the years, and they're still proving that. There's Mondo there. She's lean forward and have a look. She's a lot closer to the finish than Clockwork. She's 13 miles northeast of St Helens, so halfway or so down the Tassie coast. 169 miles to go, only doing 3.9 knots, so she's still a good 24 to 30 hours away. And on handicap, let's have a look at that. She's 26th overall, which is a pretty good effort, and 3rd at the moment in her division, but still a lot to play out there with 170 miles to go.
And Peter, one of the newest boats in the fleet is Atomic Blonde, and it's a JPK 1180.
Yeah.
Now, one of those boats won the Fastnet race back in 2021 on handicap.
That's correct, Sunrise.
Yeah.
And one of the Sunrise crew is sailing aboard Atomic Blonde this time. They're from Western Australia. Again, the weather didn't suit that size of boat for sure, but we might have a look at where they're standing at the moment.
There's one. She's one of 2 boats from the Royal Perth Yacht Club.
Correct, yes. Yep. The other boat is Waiuna, but Atomic Blonde was back early, but we're having a look here if we can find her on the list. What noise? We keep going down. There she is. She's off St Helens as well. 161 miles to go. Line honours 37th on IRC. Impressive 21. And impressive, 2nd in her division at the moment. But she, again, is 24 to 30 hours away at best, I think. Speed at the moment is only 5.4 knots. But the breeze is expected this afternoon to get round from the southwest more into the west, so it'll have the boats reaching down the rum line, closing in on Tasman. But it's still light at Tasman. Well, not still light, but it's light at the moment. The last time I looked at Tasman, it's only got a sou'wester there of about 8 to 9 knots. So, again, it's going to be a struggle around Tasman, across the bay and up the river for all these boats that are still out at sea.
Yes, well, Atomic Blonde sailed across from Perth, and Lisa caught up with the skipper, Simon Torvaldsen.
Well, here was Simon from Atomic Blonde, the JPK 1180, brand new, actually built in Australia.
Yes, it was actually built down in Nowra by Innovation Composites. It's under licence from JPK Pacific, so the guys have got the licence from France to build it here, and the same guys that built all the Sydney yachts, so it is really the spiritual successor to the Sydney 38.
Perfect, and you guys are from Royal Perth Yacht Club. You've made the trip over here, and are you looking forward to doing a trip down south, and how many have you done?
Yes, well, this is actually my first because we haven't been able to do it because of COVID. But we've got a whole lot of experience on the crew.
Maybe tell us a little bit about your crew and how you put the team together.
Well, because the boat was launched and built here, and I'm based in WA and have to work to fund it all, I had Larry Jamieson commission the boat and get it set up here. And between us, we helped select the crew. I've brought a couple of my key crew over from WA.
Sounds like you've got everything covered. Are you looking forward to it, and what are you expecting?
Well, we were really hoping for a bit more of a bit of heavier running plus some on the nose, but it seems like we've got light running and then on the nose, so it's probably not our best conditions. This boat really shines off the wind and in heavier conditions, and it doesn't look like we're going to get too much of that, so we'll just have to do our best. It's a good all-rounder, and we'll see how we go.
Yes, and the other Royal Perth Yacht Club entry, Waiuna, actually it's based at Fremantle. The skipper is Hilary Arthur, who is 63 years of age. She had the boat shipped over, Peter. But how are they going, Waiuna, from the Royal Perth Yacht Club?
Just across Bass Strait. They're east of Flinders Island, Gordon, so they've got the passage across the strait done and dusted, but still 241 miles to go, only doing 4 knots, so wow, they're 36 to 48 hours away from finishing, so we're looking at probably a New Year's Eve finish for Waiuna.
So Peter, while we're about to wrap up here, we might just have one final look at the tracker and go back. I think as we mentioned, there are still 80 boats still at sea. I'll just confirm 81 still racing, and there's 2 boats, maybe 3 boats now in Storm Bay, certainly No Limit, and Smugglers leading the TP52s. No Limit, David Goetz from Melbourne, and they are in Storm Bay at the moment, and Whisper, Caro and Celestial. They're probably pretty well into Storm Bay, so take us through it, Peter.
Yes, well, you're correct there. Celestial's just gone round Tasman, and next boat around Tasman will be the Teasing Machine from France, who was reasonably well favoured for handicap positions, but again a boat that missed out because of the weather. We might just have a look at the actual tracker, which is shows where the boats are relative to the map, and we bring this up here and we go here. Stick with me, Gordon, and we expand this out here. You can see the boats, they've closed back on the rum line. That's the straight line between Sydney and Tasman Island. You can see they're all in up here on the coast here between sort of Flinders Island and St Helens. The majority of the fleet's still there. There they all are. So progress not great at the moment. The breeze has lightened a bit and they're on the headwinds, but further south they get, the breeze has gone a little bit into the west-southwest, and this is the fleet. There's Maria Island, and then we come down here a bit further to Tasman Island. There's the Teasing Machine. She's just north of Tasman, up near the Hippolytes, and they're the boats that are around Tasman in Storm Bay. And there's a boat down, there's Caro, Whisper will be there, and they're just coming across the bay. And there's a boat down there is Celestial. She's way south of Tasman, so the breeze could be playing a few tricks in the bay as usual. So these boats are probably 4 to 5 hours away from finishing, and No Limit, as you say, she'll be the next boat to finish.
So Peter, we might just have one last look at the IRC, the handicap
standings.
situation.
Yes, we'll go to that, and we'll go to IRC.
IRC. This is the real race. This is
yes.
the race. The ratings of the boats have taken into account to make it a level playing field, and it's alive in front from URM Group. It was very tricky yesterday, Peter, working out how much time alive could close on URM to get the handicap prize, and you thought it was 28, then you thought it was 20. I was just going to ask you about, did you have a good maths teacher at Vaucluse Boys High?
I did. I was very good at maths.
Yeah.
But what we might also look at, Gordon, we had a look there at the handicap list, and that shows you that Alive has beaten URM by 20 minutes on corrected time, and then there's another fair gap to MoneyPenny in third spot, and LawConnect, she'll finish fourth overall, which is a very good performance. But all those boats from Division 0, which is the big boats division. We might just have a look at the PHS, which is the Performance Handicap. Now this is for boats that are not rated by the computer. They are rated by SailSys. It's a very excellent system of handicapping boats. It's done in Sydney, and SailSys has developed its algorithms over the years, and it equates boats not by the computer but by looking at past results, looking at size of boats, and it's worked out very well over the years, and again it's working out very well this year as we see Mako from Newcastle Yacht Club, Paul O'Rourke, he's leading at the moment from Drumfire, the beautiful 72-footer or 78-footer from Sydney, and in third place is MWF Kale. But all those boats, 166 miles to go from Mako, so that will probably change, but at the moment it's pretty close, and that's the performance handicapping system. But the Tattersalls Cup, as you say, is awarded for the IRC. And a couple of other divisions here. We'll look at the two-handers.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about the two-handers.
Okay, well, these boats, none of those have finished. And at the moment, the leader on the water is Mistral, Rupert Henry and Jack Boutel, highly fancied in the two-handed division. They are leading on line honours in the two-handed division, but on handicap, the Tasmanian boat Kraken 3, Rob Goff and John Saul, and they have got 176 to go. Mistral's got 156 to go.
They're a crack crew, aren't they, on Kraken? Rob Goff is a former world moth foiling champion, yes, and a former world windsurfing champion. I think he's actually windsurfed across Bass Strait.
Yep.
That's the Tasmanian crew. And they're having a great battle there with Mistral.
Yes, well,
two-handed.
Mistral won the two-handed division last year, and 2 years ago, in the first time that two-handers have been able to race in the Hobart race, Rob Goff and John Saul got line honours in a boat called Sidewinder, a different boat altogether than the boat they're sailing now. But so a lot to play for within the divisions, but the overall prize has been secured now by Alive.
Yeah, so 6 boats have finished. There have been 16 retirements and 81 still racing. Don't forget our next report. Every day we'll have reports at 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. CYCA TV, Rolex Sydney Hobart website, and also on social media. So there it is, Peter Shipway. As LawConnect is about to depart behind us, we'll see you again at 4 o'clock this afternoon, and you'll probably have some breakfast now, will you?
Yes, I look forward to that, and look forward to seeing you back here at 4 o'clock.
Okay, see you then.